What's up, everyone? Welcome to part 2 of Super Turrican 2. We're on board this spaceship in the middle of nowhere, and don't worry, that huge blue laser, that won't hurt you at all. It just pushes you back. This background kind of reminds me of Earthworm Jim, the first game, where one of the levels you have to walk a dog, and if that dog falls into a pit, he turns into a beast and kills your ass. I freaking hate that level. But here, you have to shoot these... I don't even know what these things are. They're just like blast cannons shooting the lasers. You have to shoot those in order to progress with the stage. You also have to keep an eye out for the mini Mr. Walker enemies that like to spawn out these ports here. I guess they're doing maintenance on the spaceship? I don't know what they're doing. They have goggles on for some reason. This whole stage is rather odd because of everything that's going on here, but it's not bad. You're going to actually need the bounce shot for the boss coming up. The reason being, the rebound shot can actually travel up the laser that this enemy shoots. Which is very good because the spread shot can only do so much, and a laser or a flamethrower, you can't aim those up. But you fight this boss twice, and this first boss right here only shoots the laser down. But the second boss this time around will shoot the laser down and claws. So with the new claw attacks, they're kind of quick, so all you need to do is spin dash out of the way. And at the same time, keeping somewhat underneath this guy because his laser is proximity based, in order for you to shoot your bounce shot up his laser. I still don't get what's happening with the background. The stars, which should be way in the distance, are scrolling at a way that's faster than the planet, which is stationary. What kind of illusionary fuck is this? But this next part is leap of faith territory right here. You gotta make somewhat blind jumps to platforms that you can't really see because they're off screen. So you just kinda gotta guess and get lucky here. Looks like this game took a few cues from Super Empire Strikes Back. That game was really terrible about leap of faith bullcrap. Anyway, here's the second, or technically third boss of the stage, the Space Ghost. Coast to coast. This boss is easy, but what you have to really do is hang off the ceilings because the floor likes to dip on and off the screen. And this game does something weird in that if the floor dives beneath the bottom of the screen and you fall down there, that still counts as a pit and you'll lose a life. But basically the Space Ghost spawns from 3 of these exhaust ports. I destroyed 1, or I destroyed 2 now, I just need to go to the last one and destroy that. The Spectre will also shoot miniature ghosts, I think, at you, but you can shoot those out of the air, space, so there's nothing really to worry about. But this section is not yet over and we still have to make our grand escape. We have to watch out for these walker droids that want to cut our lines and send us into the pit. The stage we're about to go to next is another vehicle section. Oh, there's the T again.
Stage 2.
I forgot to mention that this bike section is in mode 7. And it's a very good use of mode 7, to be honest. The game's not slowing down, everything's moving as it should, and I took a dumb hit there because that was my fault, not the game's. And this kind of reminds me of F-Zero in a way. If F-Zero involves going down straight hallways instead of race courses. Okay, maybe not F-Zero, but there was a game on the Super Nintendo called Hyper Zone that was kind of like this. But anyway, that's a subject for another time. This first section involves you getting around the laser gates. Nothing too difficult, but the second section is... hell, probably even easier than the first section. You have to shoot your laser cannons at the enemy bikers coming towards you. They take a couple of shots to kill, and their hitboxes are not as big as they look. So what I do for this section, and I just found this out yesterday, is I rock back and forth in place, that way the shots hit their targets. And that's pretty much this stage in a nutshell, but we're gonna have to go through this area a second time. The second speeder bike stage is a bit tougher, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Here's stage 2-3, the game's most linear stage, in a game filled with linear stages. Now, what I said in part 1 about this game lacking something compared to the other Turrican games, it's the exploration factor. You pretty much run from A to B through 80% of this game, and there's no real path of deviation, or I wouldn't say there aren't any secrets, but the secrets are few and far between. And even though this game is technically finished, unlike Super Turrican, the stages still feel kind of short. But hey, there are boss fights at least. And speaking of bosses, we fight the same guy 3 times in this stage. It's a giant brain and a cannon. Which I am drawing a blank on this dude's name, but his stage theme, or his boss theme rather, is called Brain Dead. So that's what I'm gonna call him, is Brain Dead. So the way that Brain Dead works is he can only fire his cannon to the left of himself. So if you hang on the right wall, you should be okay from the laser, but there's still the problem of Brain Dead coming into contact with you. That was definitely an R2 scream. I can see why George Lucas likes Factor 5. These laser gates work on a pattern, so you gotta watch carefully when they activate. Carefully, however, is not my middle name, so I just botched this sequence completely. This laser gate looks like it stalls for a tiny bit, so you gotta be quick on this one, which I failed to do. Oh man, just repel yourself out of there. This ain't worth it. Now, the flamethrower is actually useful for this boss, but I like to stick with the spread shot.
Boss approaching.
The third fight with Brain Dead is the same as the other two, but there's a bombless pit below you, so you have to dodge the lasers this time. There is a neat trick you can do with the grapple hook. You repeatedly press the R button to activate the grapple hook, and then while you're attached to the wall, you just keep pressing R to do a quick baby hop up. It's kind of similar to Mega Man X's wall jump, except you're using your arm to get the extra boost up. But Brain Dead is not really that hard, even with the instant kill pit below you. Now, for this next part, you have to grapple onto the brain in order for... Oh! Okay, this time with less fail. Grapple onto the brain in order for it to bring you to the other side. That was not hard, that was honestly just super weird hit detection. But here is one of the rare secrets in this game.
Power up. 1-up.
I got a 1-up! This game is strange in that you can't just get extra lives out in the open like you did in the other games. You have to get lives by collecting jewels in this game, which is... You collected jewels in the other games too, but they didn't help towards extra lives. The gemstones in the earlier games were mainly there for bragging rights, I guess, I don't know. Or just collectibles. Sounded like a deranged cat doing that. Anyway, here's the second speeder bike section.
Stage 2, 4.
This particular stage starts off with the biker bots from Mars, or elsewhere, shooting at you. All you have to do is dodge your torpedoes and shoot back at them. You also got this almost close to heavy metal song playing in the background, but not quite because it's Super Nintendo limitations on the music. But it still sounds great. And when this part is finished, you'll have something else to deal with. And the game doesn't really tell you how to do this, but you can actually boost. You have to press the B button in order to perform this move, and it is absolutely crucial for this next part coming up. The reason why is a big biker is going to drive beside you, and he's going to try and drill you into the wall. Quite literally. Who should be coming by any minute now. Come on, where you at? Any day now. There he is. At the speed of snail here. But anyway, when he comes over to drill your bike, you just swing around him by using the boost. You gotta time it somewhat perfectly too. When he's left wide open, you slam him into the wall repeatedly. Ow, 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 shit! That's not the end though, there's 2 more bikers on the way. And they're just as mildly aggressive as the first one was. Now's a good time to go over the game's story as depicted in the user manual, because back in the day user manuals existed, and they told stories. I'm getting old. Not really, kind of. Mid-20 crisis. Introduction. The Army of Darkness has returned. Armageddon has arrived. The Federation's meager nuclear defense systems were no match for the machine phasers launched from deep space. The galaxy now remains a smoldering wasteland, fallen under the wrath of evil. Shipwrecked somewhere in this devastated realm, the last remaining survivor of the United Freedom Forces, the UFF, it is your duty to thwart, by whatever means possible, the machine's plan to transform this devastated galaxy into their new defense stronghold. Unfortunately, the machine has already begun positioning their forces deep within the chaos. Not only must you prevent additional forces from invading, you must also drive out these vicious cyborg mercenaries. Good luck, salute, and be well. So the instruction manual story is somewhat consistent with the game, and it also seems to connect with the other Turrican games. However, the player character is not Bren. In fact, the guy is unnamed, so I'm guessing Bren McGuire is dead? He got killed some time ago, I don't know. Or maybe he got married to that blonde girl from Mega Turrican and he retired from the forces. Because he was eons old. That guy's like 50 million. Man, I miss instruction manuals after reading that. That was actually a pretty well told story. Even though that was short. And this stage is honestly filler. You have to keep up with the missiles and not fall to the bottom of the screen. Because you know what happens when you fall down there. And I'm not sure if you get crushed at the top of the screen if you let the missiles take you up there. Maybe you just fall through. I never died on this stage. It is literally just brain dead easy. Not the brain dead boss, but brain dead easy.
Boss approaching.
Oh my god, a giant space spider? I heard of space whales, but a space spider? Are you serious? Yep, this game is very much serious about the space spider, and this is one of the trickier bosses in the game because dodging here is not ideal. You have to use your bionic arm to cling onto the webs because this whole entire area is bottomless pit territory. And the spider likes to attack you ferociously. Not only does he have that webbing or green gunk that comes from his backside, but he's also got baby spiders that like to chase you all over the screen. The baby spiders are easier to take out. It's this green gunk that's annoying to dodge because he's never really consistent on where he's going to shoot the thing. Oh god, now we're in the void of space. What's going to happen to Turrican now? The robot spider vanishes into space, or like he blew the fuck up, and leaves you floating helplessly in the black infinity. Suddenly, the spaceship appears and saves the doomed hero. Aboard the pirate ship, the outlaws take you to their home planet. Approaching the water world, with Kevin Costner as the captain, you plan your escape, to continue the quest for freedom and peace. Stage 3-1. Now this place breaks the formula of linear levels just a little bit. It's kind of a combination of a vehicle stage and an action stage in one. So you're looking at a maze type of level. Oh boy, I hate these. Now the maze is not too complicated, but you still got a time limit, so you gotta hurry. Yeah, I am going to take note that this jet ski's weapon is not that good. It's just a singular torpedo. It doesn't lock onto the enemies and is a very slow moving projectile. It also doesn't help that the enemies are small walkers too.
Smart bomb. Power up.
This song kind of sounds like a Donkey Kong Country water level. Or maybe it's just me. The atmosphere here is just that relaxing. But we should be coming up to one of 3 facilities that we need to destroy. It's a very unusual stage in this game because you have to unlock the true pathway to the end. But anyway, this first facility here is self-explanatory. You got these droid enemies that will come on screen and shoot really quickly, so you have to duck underneath their attacks. And for this electricity barrier that I have to shoot at, I just get behind the thing so I'm safe from enemy attacks and everything else. And this generator takes a while to kill. Holy shit. We can't shoot him off the wall. We need to come up with a better plan. Like multi-jointed arms. I swear, nobody knows how to shoot up in Turrican games. Or Mega Man games for that matter. Unless if it's Metal Blades. Or Shadow Blades. But anyway, time to dive back into the ocean for some more maze level goodness. I say that with sarcasm. But there is a bright side to this stage in that every time you screen transition, the timer restarts. Granted, the timer starts at 100 seconds, which is not really that much time, but it still starts over nonetheless. The jet ski is awkward to handle because you don't freely turn around to wherever you're going. Like say for example, you're going right, but the jet ski doesn't automatically turn right, you know? So you need to press the jump button in order to face the direction you want to go. Anyway, the next two facilities are going to be on the right side of this stage, but I have no idea where I'm going. It also doesn't help that these enemies are small and hard to hit with these missiles. Or more technically torpedoes, because missiles don't work underwater. It's also cool that the walker enemies have snorkels and fins. You know, despite this being not as good as the other Turrican games, it's still got charm. Now, would I play this over Sunset Riders or Contra? Or Metal Slug? No. Might still play this game from time to time though. Mainly just to hear the ambient music though. Despite this being the last Turrican game ever released, there was originally supposed to be a 3D Turrican game on the PC. I need to do more research on this thing because it got cancelled. I don't know what happened to it. It was supposed to come out in 1998, I believe. But like I said, I'll do more research, and in the next part I'll give you the full details of this 3D Turrican game that never was. And yeah, the Turrican series was never really that popular back in the States, at least back then. I know popularity's definitely increased over the years, but it's still not to the extent of, say, Contra. And as far as Japan's familiarity with the Turrican series, it's basically next to none. I think Super Turrican was the only game in the series to be released in Japan. Which granted, the Japanese box art of Super Turrican is badass, but that's besides the point. What mainly kept the series alive in the early 90s was the European market. European gamers tend to have more computers in their homes as opposed to consoles, so Turrican sold extremely well. Then Turrican 2 on the Amiga came out in 1991, and that's generally one of those sequels that people say is better than the first game. I kinda think that, but also the game has no continue, so if you die a couple of times you just go back to the beginning of the game, and I don't like that design. And by time of Turrican 3, or Mega Turrican, that's when the series came to consoles. And that game is relatively split on whether or not it's a good Turrican game because it's more linear and action focused. I love the game, but other people may think otherwise. Super Turrican on the Super Nintendo was good, but the fact that the publishers wanted the developers to use the smallest cart space possible and forcing them to cut some stuff out was kind of not good. Well, I say kind of not good, I mean really not good. We missed a whole level in that game. And I died again. Man, the enemies on this stage are a pain in the ass. They're either too quick or they're too small to hit. I just need to make it to this next facility. You've got to be kidding me. There's a heart pickup right there? Give me my T transition. This next facility is just like the other facilities. In fact, whenever you go into these facilities, they don't really change between each other. I do what I do before, I just run up to the laser gate, take a hit, and then hide behind the thing. No, we still can't shoot him off the wall. Anyway, time for lunch. The robots just completely peace out after they shoot their shot. Or lack of a shot, because I'm on the wall. Anyway, that's going to be the end of part 2 of Super Turrican 2. I'll see you for the finale.